Hi, this is David Gawley from Pentagon Solutions, and I'd like to take a quick look at using LPS, Land and Property Services, or Ordnance Survey Northern Ireland data, and performing a cleanup operation. What I have here is a standard 2500 DWG file from LPS. This is just outside Belfast, Northern Ireland. If I have a look at the properties of this in AutoCAD, you can see that it's 8,437 objects. And we can use a tool in AutoCAD Map called Map Cleanup to actually clean and rationalize this data. So I'm going to perform that task. I'm going to go into Map, Tools, and Drawing Cleanup. And in my Drawing Cleanup, I've got the option to select the objects on the screen. Well, I'm going to go Select All. I can then identify what layers to actually pick up and select and to use for my drawing cleanup, but I'm just going to hit next because I want to analyze the whole drawing. There's a range of options in here where you can delete the likes of duplicate objects or objects that are short or intersections that don't actually meet can be joined. Well, I'm going to add all options in apart from my weed polylines and my break crossing objects. My break crossing objects would create additional data in there that I don't want. And you'll see that the cleanup parameters have various tolerances that we can add in here. Well, I'm going to accept the default. Bear in mind we have about 8,400 objects there. I'm going to go to next. Again, we've got some options in here where we can perform various cleanup methods. We can either modify the original, retain the original, or delete the original and create new. Well, I'm going to modify the original. Various conversion options like lines to the polylines, arcs to the polylines, 3D polylines, the polylines, and circles to the polylines. But what I want to do, I want to be smart about this. I'm going to run this as a wee macro later on, so I'm actually going to save this out. I'm going to save it to my hard disk, and I'm going to call this Map Clean. So that saves that as a wee drawing cleanup profile file that we can actually use time again. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to finish that out. So you can see that it's deleted 4,301, it's created 237 objects. So if I have a look at the properties in here, it's 4,373 objects. So it's nearly halved all that data on the screen. But I want to be smart about this because there's other functions that I might want to do. So a typical function would be to do a layer delete on certain layers. So I might want to delete the likes of the center line of a road. So using the layer delete function deletes the center line of the road and it also purges the layer out. But other issues I have are the likes of the objects. All these objects are actually set by the color, so I want to make these by the layer, so I have to go in manually. I go into the properties, or I could use my quick properties there. I could say, well, let's make all the properties the color of this, let's make this by layer. So you can see the issue that you have with various data sets. Then I have to go in manually and clean up and change what actual color schemes I want to use. So it'd be much better if I actually recorded this functionality. Well, this is what we can do with a macro. Because I have that drawing cleanup saved, I'm going to open the file up again. So I'm back into my 8,000 objects. You can see this in the quick properties in here. 8,437. So I'm going to go to my macro tool. So I'm going to go into Tools. I'm going to go to Record. Now the thing about macros is that you need to run a lot of macros in dialog suppression. So if I hit Record, it's starting to record what I'm doing on the screen. So I'm going to type in -map clean. This means it will ask for the profile to load. So I'm going to say c:\mapclean.dpf, and it's run the actual drawing cleanup. You can see that at the bottom. But whilst I'm in this command, I'm going to perform other commands like set by layer. And what set by layer does is change all the objects on the screen to by layer. So this means I can go into certain features and change information. So all the layers have actually come back to the color. So now I'm going to do layer delete, but I'm going to run it in dialog suppression, -lay delete. And I'm going to give the name of the road, so it's, or the feature, so C_line_RD. I'm going to do another one, a common one to delete would be Townland, and another one would be Clip. So once it's found all those, I hit enter, and do I wish to continue? Yes. And you'll see that the center lines of the roads have been removed. But another thing I want to do is change the style. So I'm going to type in -style, because the text style I want to make it Arial. So the style that I want to change is standard, and I'm going to change all the text styles around here to Arial. So I accept all the various defaults in here, display text backwards, etc., and now I've got my styles in. Finally, I'm going to go into layers, and I'm going to change the appropriate layers to the actual colors I want. So I'm changing each of these individual layers, bearing in mind that this is recording in the background. So let's go down and change some of these layers. So I want some of these green. And finally, I'll do a few at the bottom, and I might want these grey. So you take a bit of time and go through your layers. The beauty about this is you've got a macro recorded to the exact schemes that you want. So when I hit stop, it'll ask me to save the macro. So I can say this is Pentagon Solutions Map Clean. So it saves it to my default directory, and I hit OK. So I'm going to quit out and not save this drawing. And next time I get a drawing or a map tile from Ordnance Survey or LPS in Northern Ireland, I can simply go in and play my macro. My macro will play, do the cleanup, change all the layers in the background, and I can go in and hey presto, all my data's nearly halved. It's on the color schema I want, it's on the text style I want, and it's very easy to clean up. Thanks.